TRUsonians. Where am I looking at? There you are. I okay, let's do as we usually do. Gotta figure it out. So welcome to my Saturday, April 12th at 9:46 a.m. DMV Standard Time. I specifically want to talk about two things. I keep wanting to look over here. Two things. One is this piece that I will be dropping on Scribed in the next few days or so. It's roughly done. I'm noticing the resistance of getting it edited and making sure that I minimize the typos, even though I will say I do not believe that any of my essays go out typo free. Some typos I put in there on purpose so that I'll know it's mine, because these internet streets are wicked. But the majority of them go because I just get so sluggish in the editing process. But it's all part of the territory, so I do what I can. But I know this piece is going to ruffle some feathers, and I'm almost sure that if I get the readership that it's due, that there will be some people in my inner circle that will swear it's about them, and it's not. So I really wanted to just give preface to this piece. It's a longer piece, and I haven't put out a piece that was over 4 pages in a long time outside of call for submissions. Because I know in the cyber world we tussle with attention spans and all of that. But I'm going to say, as I said years ago, I do not believe that people do not have proper attention span. We just have attention span for what we're interested in. And that's regardless of what phase in your life you're in. If you're not in tune with it, curious about it, interested in it, you're not going to give it any attention. So I'm learning to disclose who I am speaking to. Because my messages are not for everyone, nor do I situate them to be for everyone. And I have this honest belief that those that are meant to be in conjunction with my expressions will find it. And that's the reason why I post, and the reason why I speak freely the way that I do online is for those that are studying with me. I am no one's leader. I don't want you following me nowhere. I would like for you to get intrigued with your own self-discovery, to know thyself. And when I post, it's to give receipt to my own journey. That's why I post. But I also have discovered these recollections of my days in the salon, and my clientele, it ranged. I had clients as young as 9, even though I didn't really do little children. I didn't have the patience for little children. So between 9 and 90. And it would be intriguing, some of the conversations that took place inside of that salon. I have, and I speak fluently about how grateful I am for that career, as it allowed me to meet so many people from so many walks of life. It literally challenged me out of my narrow-mindedness. Does that mean that I'm open to everything? No. But I noticed that in these internet streets that one or two comments will have people thinking you're one way, and not that they ought to know you in your wholeness, because that takes time, and it takes cycles and seasons of people's growth spurts or the ebbs and flows of people's energetic frequencies in order for you to even think you do know someone. So I know this thing called acquaintance can get a bit tricky, but this piece challenged me to speak for the quiet voice inside of blended families. And I believe the editing process is taking me longer than usual because I'm tussling with wondering if I'm doing it justice, seeing as that this piece is encompassing a whole bunch of different voices from different moments and phase lines of my own life, and bearing witness to the conversations that weren't necessarily given in confidence, because in the salon, usually it's your clients and then your coworkers' clients and then your coworkers. And so usually it's a not necessarily a group conversation, but it's open and it's aware, and usually anyone who wants to tap into the conversation can, rightfully so. Another thing that always used to make me so proud inside of the salon or the barbershop is that there were no titles and there was no hierarchy, and children as well as adults could be involved in certain conversations, or even just those that just needed to listen and hear something good tussled with or challenged, or even in the heat of the moment, in the passion of the conversation, there are no referees throwing the call of disrespect. Things literally get churned out and chewed over inside of those spaces. And most often, I was about to say anything goes, but no, that's not true. Because I've seen the brakes be put on certain conversations, all depending on who's in the room. But usually, quite frequently, things could get discussed in a community manner without the harshness of authority, or you can't say that to me, or that kind of thing. Been taught to see situations from various angles, regardless of the spokesperson or the gender of the spokesperson. Because one thing's for certain, two things for sure: men and women can be just as honorable, mannerable, as well as they could be full of fuckery and folly. Man, woman, and child. So, what I hope is this piece will get to the nitty gritty inside of certain tender spaces when we do attempt to blend families without regarding all parties involved. So, okay, so that's the first thing. So the second thing is I recently had a conversation with my cousin, who is the type of person that doesn't really like a whole bunch of compliments incurring on. And that's not to say you can't compliment her, but when you try to shower her with it, yeah, she don't like that shit. So I figured I'd tell you about it. Mainly because of where she is in her life right now and the job that she's landed is inside of a workplace that is just miraculous to me. And to have a black woman work in a space where she absolutely loves and love her supervisor, I told her I was going to write about it. But then I thought about it. In order for me to truly be able to write about it, I need to talk about it first. And so here we are. And then on top of that, I thought I would pull out some cards just to give myself the green light or the red light if I should even be posting any of this. And this is what came up. So this was the first card out. And I just was like, okay, okay, okay. So, and this was the second card out. Well, okay. Okay, okay. And then here's where it got complicated. And I do not think that the cards were specifically speaking about my cousin and her wonderful workplace. They do this thing called hoteling, which I think just keeps things vibrant and regenerative, and it gives staffers the momentum that they need. I have been a critic of this boring ass, lame ass workplace for years, to the point where it has cost, I've gotten fired for being critical of the mundaneness inside of certain workplaces, yet they want 5 out of your 7 days and they want you to work the shit out of yourself, and you can't even take off to take your mom to the doctor, as if your mom don't mean something to you. It just was, yeah, and yeah. So, I think it's dual. I think the cards that I am about to show you now has a lot to do with both the piece that I'm about to drop and the just the first and foremost, the gratitude, because my cousin has been through a lot, and she is a true team player, and she's an all-star. She don't play. If you hire her to do something, she's going to give you her absolute best because of the way she's built. So she finally, and I've told her this, landed a position that values her and her contributions to the overall and the bottom line. And this workplace isn't afraid to show the gratitude of them knowing they have an all-star. She's finally in a place where she can give her very best, and it shows. It's reflected in the results. And I am just so happy. I love it when Black people love their job, and her salary reflects this. So, needless to say, I hollered when the first card came out. I absolutely hollered. I was like, okay, now, come on. So, but then the next set of cards, I believe, was all about me. Well, I'll say the Eight of Coins is too all about me, mainly because I've been on this, I've been cycling this phase line as an expressionist, as someone who writes. And still maintaining my pride and my motivation in a frequency that does not render a whole bunch of coin. But compensation is not just about money. And it's interesting too how a few of my, I want to call them dreams, but you know, dreams can either be that which you see while you're asleep, as well as that which you aspire to when you are awake. So I'll just call them slumber visions, because they unfolded while I was in slumber. And it was about the the true compensation of having encountered and or experienced the achievement of certain tasks, and the pricelessness of having mastered one's craft and it not be discombobulated by the rendering of monies. So, here's the next card, which is the Page of Swords. And because I am a communicator and I get quite passionate about the things that I communicate with, that was an intriguing card to come out. But then this showed up. And of course, it can mean a myriad of things, but the thing that immediately popped into my thoughts was the power of being delusional. I am someone with a lofty imagination, so it doesn't take much for me to escape into my imagination. Now, most folks would try to critique me in that area, but they can't, because I use my imagination for good. And so, seeing as that most of my imagination is to cultivate the safe space for my ancestors to dwell, I challenged it, and the next thing that came to mind was those that like to throw rocks and hide their hands. So we may come back to that, or maybe a part two, I'm not sure. And then this beauty shows up. Okay. Okay. And then this shows up. Okay. All right. And then at the bottom of the deck is this. And then it's like, okay. All right. Okay. However, we're going to do this. Okay. So here is the ticket. And I'm going to try to say this without making it last too long. Like I said, it may be a part two just because I can get to rambling when I am speaking about the cards and why I decided to even cultivate a love language with the cards and how the essence of the oracle and tarot and what it all means to me, and how I used to be afraid of handling the cards and the silent messages that would come along with understanding that reading the cards is a piece of me. And even though I still have to navigate folks that would get spooked by the handling of the cards, giving them grace to really truly know that if they knew, if they could experience what I experienced with the cards, that spookism would go away. But also understanding that you cannot show people what you see on an intimate level, because two people can see the same thing and leave with something totally different. I used to giggle about it, but this is very true, where two people can taste the same thing. Someone can say, "Oh, that was so good," and somebody else be like, "That shit was nasty." So it gets tricky to try to produce resonance. Either you have it or you don't, and one way is not better than the other. It is what it is. This is one of the reasons why I refuse to get caught in the narrow-mindedness of right and wrong. Because we do live in a multifaceted spectrum. And one man's God is truly going to be another man's devil or woman. And the notion that we can have a one-size-fit-all realm when there is so much variety. Even in species, there is so much variety. So, trust your instincts. For the love of the goddess, trust your instincts. and embrace the energy of peace. And only you can do that. No one on the outside of you can give you peace. But the interesting thing about it is you really can say, peace come here. Peace be still. Peace be with me. Peace come reside. Peace be my company. Peace be my constant companion. Peace come see about me. The King of Wands and the Ace of Wands, honey. So I'm going to close out with this. I have come across some of the most mannish behavior the last few days. And even with folks that have channels that will invite you to come and comment and subscribe, and they'll invite you to like their shit, but failing to realize it also has it has one of those. They won't talk to you about, whether you like it or you don't like it, rate it how you, they will always try to guide you to like their shit, even if you don't. And then they will demand as soon as you enter into it to like it without you even viewing the shit. It gets quite complicated, discombobulated, just makes everything all ruffly. So I had this brief, weird ass run in because this particular person who is a musician, I love musicians. I love instrumentalists. That is my jam. So I'm not afraid to compliment you if my mind and my heart says compliment them. I am a promoter. I've always been a promoter. You can't be a hairstylist and not be able to express the highlights and the accentuations of a person's beauty. I've been doing it over 20 years. Now, what I won't do is blow smoke up your ass. So if I don't think you are due the compliment, I won't give it to you. But I'm free with my compliments. I know what I like. But no how, no way does that mean I want to court you, hang out with you, do anything above and beyond what I am complimenting you on what you already do. And I'm a wordsmith, and I use my words wisely. So if I'm on your page and I'm complimenting you, it's because I really enjoy what you do. And it gives me passion and inspiration, and it makes me happy to see humans doing what they do best, and they're mastering and they're getting better, because at the end of the day, music heals. It calms the Sabbath beast. But somehow, some way, my compliments and my comments get misconstrued. And they're always misconstrued. But the interesting thing about it is, if you figure I'm bothering you, that says more about you than it does about me. I refuse to go back and forth with those that misconstrue my compliments. And it happens all the time. It even happens in the physical realm. It happens. Man, woman, or child. Someone gives you a compliment and all of a sudden you think they want to court you or be with you more than they already are. My support is my comment and me liking it. Everybody is not in the position, nor are they ought to be, to super chat you, send you money, donations. People's money don't flow like that. Not all. So the ones that you are getting monies from, count that all joy. But if I am going to give you my true compliment, you need to count that joy too. Stop fucking around. And that's not going to stop me from complimenting those that I figure like I'm going to compliment. Because that's the way I'm built. I'm built that way. So, I think that might be it for now. Yeah, that's it for now. So yeah, until next time, I do wish you well.